but he said he's going to donate the money to the children that have lost their parents. But I cannot hear where I'm sitting say it's funded by so and so.
Okay. Just on a matter that has arisen here, but maybe just to raise it in a different context. Am I correct to say that in your submission in this committee, you said that you have never met directly with Paul O'Sullivan?
I've never said that, Church.
You never said that?
I've never said that.
Okay, I remember you saying, I know him very well.
Yes.
So knowing him very well means also you have met with him at some point?
I've met with him many times.
No, I wanted to be sure because I was not, I might have missed that. Now, the November meeting that we are talking about, where the minister raised certain concerns about, I think, various task teams, but particularly about the PKTT. You make references to that meeting of November. Now, let me tell you what is of my particular interest about it. Why did you choose to exclude that important information from your sworn-in statement? Because in that November meeting, in terms of your argument here, you are telling the people of South Africa that it's not fair for the National Commissioner to say he did not anticipate the disbandment of the PKTT because that was mentioned in the November meeting. And that's a crucial evidence in my own view. Why did you choose consciously to exclude that in the sworn-in statements you have provided to us?
I need to see that November meeting, Chair, because I'm a little bit lost.
Okay, let me remind you.
Yeah.
You made reference to the fact that there was a meeting around 26 or 27 November, whose minutes you do not have because you were denied access. And at that meeting, a discussion took place about various task teams, but I want to draw your attention to the issue of the PKTT. And the minister is said to have raised some observations about the PKTT on that meeting. Now, as you know, the serious contention on the part of the National Commissioner, your boss, is that I was never aware that there was any major discomfort which can result in such a drastic decision being taken and communicated on the 31st of December. Now you are saying, no, but in that November meeting, he even said to the National Commissioner, well, these are task teams, and task teams by their very own nature are not expected to last forever. So that's the November meeting I'm talking about. Now I'm saying to you, it would seem to me that is a very crucial meeting.
Yes.
But why did you choose to exclude it from your sworn-in statement?
We didn't choose to exclude it because this is a statement that was contained in the minutes of the meeting that was discussed. And we requested with the legal team to have access. Even I think we requested through the evidence leader, if I'm sure that we be assisted with the minutes from the South African Police Service, and we were not favored with such minutes.
General, let me explain what do I mean by exclusion. We've got these two big batches from you. These ones. Your own sworn-in statement you gave us. You make references to many things correctly, and we have no problem with that.
Yes.
But you are not even mentioning the fact that on your sworn statement, by the way, there is a November meeting whose minutes I have been denied. But I want to make the South African people to know that those minutes which were denied, I was denied access to, actually will confirm once they are made available that the National Commissioner was aware that we are gravitating towards a decision taken on the 31st. Why did you choose not to mention that in your sworn-in affidavit?
Whilst I understand, Chair, remember that the statement is made by the evidence leader in consultation with my legal team I'm there as well. They consult with me and then going to and fro. We're preparing a statement. So if it's an oversight, it could be that it's an oversight. But what I know and what I'm sure about is the fact that we did request the copies of such minutes.
Okay. Let me say, I'm asking that question because I'm saying it's a crucial information and it's excluded and it's not. In fact, my own suspicion now is that if the line of questioning did not force you to talk about that meeting, we're never going to know about it. That's my own conclusion. You don't have to answer that. If the line of questioning, and I'm saying that worries me because that is a profoundly important meeting, because even if you don't have the minutes, but the proceedings of that meeting in terms of your contention are nullifying the argument of the National Commissioner to say, I was blind. I was blank, not blind. I was blank, I had no information and no knowledge. But let's leave that issue there, General. I want to take you to your sworn statement, paragraph 85. In that paragraph 85 in your statement, I'm going to refer to two documents that I'm sure you recall very quickly. If you read that paragraph 85 and you read it together with 3.5.1a of the big bundle, what I call the big bundle would be, in our case, this one. I don't know on your side, how is it organized? But in that, in the two, you are saying something that left me with a question about who constitutes the office of the National Commissioner? Who constitutes that office? I don't know if are you able to get to 85? 85, let me read it for you. It says, is this one on your sworn statement?
I'm trying to get the...
You're trying to get there, okay. And I was asking that you read that paragraph 85 with 3.5.1a of the big bundle, which will be page 62 for honorable members here.
Paragraph 80, I'm on page 27, Chair, and the paragraph.
Yes, we read that paragraph. If you understand that paragraph together with the one that is on 3.5.1a, dockets allocated to various investigations.
Paragraph custody and or control of dockets in general.
Yes, and then paragraph 85 there. And then you read it together with paragraph 3.5.1 of the big, what I call the big bundle, which is the additional bundle. The page is 62 for you colleagues of this one, page 62. So my question there, what constitutes the office of the National Commissioner, or who constitutes it, and who constitutes your office? At what point does your office and that of the National Commissioner get separated as his deputy?
We are in the National Commissioner's office as the deputy.
You are in his office?
Yeah. We are his deputies. We fall under corporate. That is the office of the National Commissioner.
So you are part of his office?
Yes.
Okay. I'm happy with that answer. I'll tell you why that answer is important when I come back to it. Now, if you look at paragraph 94 of the same document, your sworn statement, paragraph 94 of your sworn statement, that paragraph there, the two divisional commissioners who reported to me, crime intelligence and detective and forensic, the dockets has to go where they needed to, where they are needed or they needed to be investigated. You see that paragraph?
Yes.
Now, my question is, you are then making a point there that I think you are referring to Lt General Senzo Mchunu. You are saying she is the one who, on my directive, was supposed to continue with the investigation of the dockets. And I suppose you're referring to the PKTT dockets.
Yes.
How were you expecting he or her to investigate all of those dockets alone?
No, it doesn't mean that she's supposed to investigate the dockets alone. She's a divisional commissioner. Now, all these dockets will fall under her. In other words, as a divisional commissioner, she's got different component heads. The relevant component is the one that deals with serious and violent crime, which is General Mkhwanazi. So General Sintumule, from divisional crime intelligence to divisional commissioner detective service.
Okay.
He's the one who must accept them. Then from there, send them over to General Mkhwanazi to take forward.
So she's under your command?
Yes.
All right. And then in paragraph 102, you are responding to General Mkhwanazi there. You are saying this is not true. The documents were not in my office. That's about the dockets. I'm sure you remember that. Yes. The documents were not in my office.
Yes.
Now, let me just check. Who kept the document? And to whom does that person directly report to at SAPS?
I'm told the dockets were in Brigadier Tata's office, who report to General Mkhwanazi. General Mkhwanazi will report to General Sintumule.
And General Sintumule reporting to whom?
Me.
So basically the dockets were in your office?
Not in my office.
No, okay, when I say the office, I understand the office not to be a building. I'm the chief whip of the ANC, I've got the deputy chief whip. When I talk about my office, it's the office where it's me, the deputy chief whip, and everybody who's in that caucus office.
In that sense, I will accept, Chair.
So the documents the dockets were kept in your office. It not physically where you work, but in your office. So they were under your office. Yes,
Chair.
Okay. And then in paragraph 103, General Mkhwanazi refused to carry the directive of the National Commissioner. You said, where does that general report to?
General Sintumule.
Now, where does, is she?
It's a she.
In your own view, given what you have told us about how police work on command and control, directive, authority, and seniority, where do you think General Mkhwanazi got the courage to refuse the directive of the National Commissioner when he said to her, allow them to take photos of the docket?
Well, I think at this present moment, maybe she is something that she can come and explain herself, but safe to say that we all believe that these dockets, because General Mkhwanazi already spoke to the nation and said the dockets are sitting here gathering dust when in fact they were not worked on. And that now they want to come. We were suspecting that in fact they want to come and add some of the things. They already told the nation that some of the dockets were already at an arresting stage when they were not. So it was a question of, okay, what needs to happen here now? Can we get it in writing that says we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4? So that, and this is how the discussions went with General Mkhwanazi, that no, let it be in writing so that at least we are all covered, we are all protected.
Okay, so that comes to the earlier point you made when you were responding to one of my colleagues that you only carry out even from your boss, you can only carry out a written instruction.
Lawful instruction.
What is unlawful about the commissioner saying to somebody very junior, far below down, please allow them to come and take photos?
There was nothing unlawful, but the problem is it had the risk of when General Mkhwanazi went out there and said, we took the docket are in my office gathering dust, and that some of the doggers were at the stage of arresting, when in fact he made a press briefing on information that he did not have. Now later he wants to come and either, I don't know, to inspect or to do that after effect. So to as far as I'm concerned, this is what she says she did.
Okay.
No,
You
no,
know why I'm asking?
no, Chief,
Okay.
the question has not been answered. Did you hear the question, General?
I did.
You said that the instruction of your senior General Masemola was not unlawful. And the Chief Whip wants to know, and this emanates from the earlier statement that you made. And then the Chief Whip wants to know, if it was not unlawful, why was it not carried out? Because you say you hit to instructions to the extent that they are not unlawful. And then he came back and said, was the instruction unlawful? You said no. And then he followed up to say, given your commitment to execute lawful instructions, here is an instruction that you yourself say was not unlawful. Why was it not carried out?
Because, Chair, firstly, this was a situation where General Mkhwanazi is calling and saying, I'm sending 10 people there to come and inspect those dockets. And we're saying, but now you want to take the dockets that you rejected, and that after you tell the nation that we took the dockets, and the dockets are gathering just in my office and in General Sibiya's office, and some of the dockets were nearing an arrest stage with warrant of arrest already inside, and say, but now they are going to tamper with the dockets again. So let them not have access to those dockets, at least at that point in time. Then that's when the National Commissioner called General Motsepe, and General Motsepe said, no, General, they already made a press conference, and and the commission has now been established. Let this thing be dealt with in terms of the commission then. That is what happened, Honorable Chair.
You will understand a bit later why I'm raising this question. Because in my view, it's a bit strange that a junior person like General Motsepe will respond to the National Commissioner in a way that you are saying she did. Now, we are talking about her through you because you are telling us. And in your answer, you are, okay, maybe let me ask the question before I can explain why I think you are insinuating something, and I will explain when I come to the next question. Was it completely impossible in your own view? Was it completely impossible to mitigate the possibility of tampering if they come and take the photos on the side of General Motsepe and her team?
I was already on suspension myself, on stay at home. So I had no access to that. And as far as I'm concerned, in all fairness, General Mkhwanazi made a press briefing.
General, with due respect, you have been a policeman for 37 years. I don't want to know whether you were there or not there. I'm asking. You gave us this information about General Motsepe. We're not going to ask about it. You gave us. All I'm asking, given your own experience and knowledge as our dictative in chief in this country, was it absolutely impossible for somebody in the position of General Motsepe to mitigate the possibility of tampering if these people, the 10 people who were coming in to take the photos?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
sure what was the circumstances and the situation in terms of the people coming, 10 people to come in.
Okay. What would you say to somebody who says, no, 10 people are coming to take photos. If we have to guard against them manipulating this document, we'll put 10 others there to watch them. And somebody said, you know why that did not happen? It's because the defiance of General Motsepe was occasioned by the fact that she belongs to this other faction, which is suspicious of the National Commissioner because it's aligned to General Sibiya. What would you say to somebody who say that?
I don't think General Motsepe belongs to any faction. She was with the docket.
But the first among equals in the police tell her what to do. She doesn't do it. And she reports in the line that belongs to your division. I'm saying, then somebody sits somewhere in South Africa and say, where does this general get such a courage? Okay, let me conclude that because it's quite clear that in the evidence we're listening, there is a group, you are even giving them a provincial identification, KZN. Is a KZN group. Mkhwanazi and their group.
Team.
And then Masemula joins that group at some point because, I suppose, not because from KZN, but for factional reasons. If we were to accept that logic, if a South African citizen who's listening accept that logic, and therefore says, but here is a very junior general who refused to carry an instruction of the first among equal in the command and control of the South African Police Service. Is that person not acting because she belongs to another group, which is not only suspicious of the group of the NC, but equally protecting its own domain because it is under General Sibiya? So you think the South African who think like that will be unfortunate or unwell or something like, what's your brief comment on that?
My brief comment is that, quite honestly speaking, Chair, I don't believe that General Motsepe believes to a faction, but I'm very much concerned that something very wrong happened where there's a press conference and a statement is made, and the dockets apparently are in my office gathering dust. When those dockets were in fact taken to KZN and he rejected it. Now, in all earnest fact, I'm looking at a situation where General Mkhwanazi is doing everything wrong, and it seems like all the facts are favoring General Mkhwanazi because everybody who's trying to say, but let us preserve the evidence of this one, is also wrong in doing that.
Chief Whip, before you proceed, let me take Honorable Shongwa.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I just want to keep this on record. When Honorable Skosana says the general is not answering consistency on his answers, I asked this question, if you remember, and these two replies was, I won't speak for General Motsepe. She will come, she's gonna have to come for herself and reply on this issue. And now when he's answering with Chief Whip, he's all over the place. So I think General Awilungu is, thank you.
Yeah. But you know what you must do? What you did previously, you must say indaba.
Ndaba komete.
Thank you. Skosana, Honorable Skosana.
Chair, I think let me lead the Chief Whip to finish the floor. Thank you.
Okay, Chief Whip.
All right. You are the most senior custodian of all dockets. The most senior custodian of all dockets. You stayed with the dockets in your office under people who report to you for 4 months. No work was done on them. Now we know that no work was done on them because that was presented here and we've never rebutted it. But Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi argues that actually 5 of the dockets were ready for arrest And then he contended that soon after the documents were released back to KZN, some arrests took place. Do you know if the arrests that are said to have taken place immediately when dockets went back to KZN were arrests related to the same dockets?
I was not in the police yet at that time, but as far as I'm concerned, what I was told is not the same docket.
No, General. You had the dockets for 4 months. Okay, maybe it's me who's wrong. I'm laboring under the assumption that now dockets are back in KZN. Am I wrong or right?
Correct.
They are back in KZN.
Correct.
Are you aware or not aware of the information that immediately upon the arrival of dockets in KZN, some arrests were effected? And my question is, if there were arrests effected immediately when they got back, 2 months or a month ago, you were there in South Africa. If that happened, are you aware if those arrests were arrests that are emanating from the same dockets that were with the head office?
I wouldn't know in the set of KZN, but what I know in the list that we have, we don't have dockets that were like really ready to arrest now. You will have 1 or 2 where maybe 3 where they were to go and arrest the suspects. But if the J50 warrant of arrest was not signed, which means at this point in time, they could not arrest unless the J50 is signed. So I'm not aware because I was not in the system at that time.
Okay. Do you know if there is an existence of a syndicate that is operating in Gauteng?
There are many syndicates that are operating in Gauteng.
Okay. Syndicates and cartel, are they the same or not the same?
They are not the same in a sense that the cartel is a group of people that are operating and also that mostly also even control and determine what happens in government and other areas. And then syndicate is just a syndicate that is operating in crime.
Okay. Yesterday you gave evidence that the Big Five is a non-existent entity. Is it your own submission to us and the people of South Africa that the head of crime intelligence, Lt General Khumalo, Lt General Mkhwanazi, and the National Commissioner are essentially misleading the country when in their various submissions, they make reference to the existence of the Group 5?
Chair,
a Big Five, a group of Big Five, yeah.
Chair, I have the document of the syndicate that was compiled by both organized crime and criminal crime intelligence. And the document that I have that was presented by crime intelligence does not have the Big Five.
Are you aware that some of them, maybe not all of them, but also made another presentation before the minister? They are said to have made a presentation to the Minister of Police. And part of that presentation apparently implicated you. Are you aware of that?
If they say it implicated me, in the one that I have that was made by them in my presence, it didn't implicate me. And if there is such that implicates me, I'm quite sure and I'm quite confident that I'm not involved in drugs, and I give them a go ahead to really arrest me if I do, I'm involved in drugs.
No, my question is that, are you aware that they had a meeting with the Minister of Police in which they gave a report, part of which implicated you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you made a submission that General Mkhwanazi, Lieutenant General, sorry.
So sorry to interrupt you, Chief Whip. The General just said he's aware of that report. Where does he get that information from? Would he have been briefed by the Minister, briefed by the generals, or just heard it in these proceedings?
The National Commissioner, in one of the presentations or statement or where he spoke about the fact that he was talking here in this house that there was a meeting where he went and he briefed the minister and he told the minister about that.
No problems, okay. Now I want to go to, but you don't have to go there. I will explain what is in the context of my question. The paragraph 81 and 83 of your sworn-in statement, where you talk about Nhlanhla. You say there, and I quote, "I know Nhlanhla as a service provider at SAPS." That's in paragraph 81. Then in paragraph 83, you say that, and I quote, "I didn't know Nhlanhla before the meeting at my office." Now, you have been telling this committee, General, that Nhlanhla is a well-known person within the South African Police Service. If I read this too, I know Nhlanhla is a service provider. And then the next paragraph, "I didn't know Nhlanhla before the meeting at my office." And in your submission here, Nhlanhla is a well-known person within the South African Police. Does the well-known, the knowledge of Nhlanhla, the knowledge about Nhlanhla within SAPS, before his meeting with you on the day when he was coming to complain about the tent, does that knowledge of all others exclude you, and why? Well, why are you the only one who's excluded in that knowledge?
I didn't know Nhlanhla. I didn't know Nhlanhla from the onset or from the beginning. I didn't know him up until the day I met him in the office. And thereafter, I met him at the college, and I've met him several times. Like I'm saying, I indicated. Now, he is the kind of a person who is well known because he's a person who's been operating in Gauteng. When I look at the whole history of Nhlanhla and the other colleagues that know him, you will see that he's a well-known person.
Okay, let me just explain why I'm asking this question. You are saying in paragraph 81, "I know Nhlanhla." You are saying in paragraph 83, "I didn't know Nhlanhla until I met him in my office." But you seem to know that you actually know, not seem to know. You have told us, you know when for sure, that actually Nhlanhla is well known within SAPS. Now tell me, General, does Nhlanhla become well known in SAPS in terms of your knowledge after he has met you, or he was well known even before he has met you? If he was well known even before he has met you, how did it exclude you among those who know Nhlanhla?
Remember, Chair, that I was out of the police. And as a result, I was working for the city of Joburg. After I came back into the police, I was a component head of organized crime. I didn't know him still. But at the time I was acting as a national commissioner, after I think the 1st of July 2023, now when I was now the acting national commissioner, at that point, that's when I got to know Nhlanhla. Now, thereafter going forward, you know that, he knows that one, he knows this one, he knows this one, he knows that one. So I realized that he's known.
So you got to know about his knowledge of almost everybody in the institution after he has met you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, General, so you meet Nhlanhla, he explained his problem, he's accompanied by the lawyer, a problem of his contract, but the problem is not resolved. And you report it, you escalate it to the National Commissioner. Why do you think Nhlanhla decided not to proceed directly now to the National Commissioner? Because in your and his evidence, the National Commission, there is no information that tells us that beyond being, after seeing you and being unhappy, proceeded to the main occupant of the office. And why, what is this coincidence of him only coming to complain about his own tender when you are acting?
It's a question that one can ask, but unfortunately, if he came to me when I was acting with the hope that I can sign and approve and give him permission, but because I didn't sign and give him permission, now I cannot explain why he came to me. Mine was just to pass the message to the National Commission. And I could also easily say to him, no, I'm not involved, go see the National Commissioner. But he came with a lawyer in the office. When they came, they presented the problem. I said, all I can do is to transfer the message to, carry the message to the National Commissioner, which I did.
Are you not worried with this seeming coincidence? Matala is a problem, but the problem is only reported to the highest office when you are acting. After you finish acting, there is no trace of Matala with the problem still unresolved, coming back to the main incumbent and say, I met your acting colleague, my problem was not resolved, I'm back to you. Are you not worried about what that coincidence might suggest to the people of South Africa?
I don't know what other steps he followed thereafter or therefrom. I didn't know. I don't know whether he wrote to Public Works, or whether he wrote to supply chain, or whether he wrote, or what the lawyers did. I'm not aware of that.
Okay. The other coincidence that I would like to check whether does it worry you or it doesn't worry you has to do with the message that is alleged to have been sent by Mr. Brown Mohotsi to Mr. Nhlanhla, in which he is telling him about, it's on paragraph 37, he's telling him, it will be 37, I think, of this bundle for us. But he's telling him, I will paraphrase it. He is telling him about the decision taken to disband and that documents are on their way to Sibiya. Are you not worried that there is too much coincidence with the behavior of these people with your name involved? Are you not worried about that?
I am worried about that my name was used. But when you look at that time, it is at the time, I think, where the documents were far from actually being handed over, if I remember very well. And personally, the document where I didn't even know when the documents were actually being exchanged, because I was not part of the exchange of the document. It was between General Ntuli and General Khumalo on the 28th of March.
But then if you are worried, and I would be worried if I was in your position as well, quite honestly. After that message, you have seen Brown Mohotsi more than once. You have never indicated to us, nor in your written submission, that you inform Brown Mohotsi that you are very concerned about his conduct and the usage of your name in a way that places your reputation at the risk. Okay, let me say when you met him in January, you may have not been aware of this. But you have met Brown Mohotsi, you told us yesterday that you said you met him in January and then again a month ago, meaning a month ago from today, he just came to greet and left. You said you were meeting with the evidence leaders, senior evidence leaders, if I'm not mistaken, but he came to greet and then and left.
It was not a month ago, I think 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But it's not like I never asked him as to why did this happen. And it's someone who actually, in a way, denied it or brushed it off. But as far as I'm concerned, it was before even these emails were spoken about. I didn't even know about the email at that time. But what I did discuss with him is that there was a point where we heard that after General Mkhwanazi spoke about it, that there are these emails. And to me, it was a cause for concern. Damage was already done at that point in time.
So you raised this concern with him?
I did.
What did you say?
No, he just brushed it off in a sense that no, General, this is not true. And then I'm told that this thing was tampered with. I don't know, but I will follow up.
Okay. Now, when the National Commissioner received or was made aware of the letter from the Minister of Police to disband the PKTT, when he was made aware of that, he said in his documents, he got to be aware of this on the 2nd of January, and he was away. And he says, but he did not pay much attention to it because he was on leave. He thought he can deal with it when he comes back. You have said to us, this was a very serious issue for him to simply say, I saw it on social media and I will attend to it when I come back. This was a very serious issue for him to do that. But when he was away, there was an acting national commissioner. Why did you not, given the seriousness of the issue that you wanted the NC to attach to it, why did you not say anything to the acting national commissioner when a matter like this has arisen and their correspondent is coming from the office of the acting national commissioner, because she's the one, he or Musigit is a he. It's a she. She's the one who was in charge. Why nowhere you were saying, I once spoke to the acting national commissioner? Nowhere.
Chair, if correspondence come from the office of the national commissioner, where General Musigit is acting, it's a document that gives me an instruction to proceed from the office of the national commissioner. I take it that it comes from the national commissioner or General Musigit, but it is the same thing.
Can I ask that you allow me to ask just 3 questions? I'm told 3 is the reasonable one. My plea.
Yeah. Every time the stands upright, it means your time is up, but because you have a benevolent chairperson.
Yeah, no, I'll be quick. Just 3 questions.
We allow you to ask between 2 and 3 questions.
Okay, I promise you it won't be more than 3. The first one, just very briefly, on the bundles that we have, there's a document that is referred to as SP6, as the other one is SP7.1. Let me tell you what are those documents. SP6 is a document that you said was prepared by the National Commissioner's Office for you to sign, and it does show where you need to sign, but it also shows where he needs to sign. SP 7.1 is where you are now getting that document for the 2nd time, and you told us it did not change, but it now only has a space for you to sign and not the National Commission. How would you respond to someone who says, the reason you did not care that you no longer have to be backed up by your principal is because you were on the rush to execute the instruction to your juniors to proceed with the implementation of the disbandment?
But Chair, if we are fair enough, the minister writes to the National Commission and he gives a directive that this is what must happen. And the National Commissioner does not agree with the minister. That document should not be cascaded further downwards. It should be between the National Commissioner and the minister. It should end there. The National Commissioner must be able to respond. But if the National Commissioner writes in his own affidavit that says, I complied because had I not complied, I was going to be charged for insubordination. So which means the National Commissioner himself complied. Now, the fact that those documents came to me, it means it was now getting for implementation. Otherwise, it was not going to be like that. If the National Commissioner was of the view that he doesn't agree, was going to return to the minister and say, Minister, I will be responding to you. I acknowledge the receipt of your directive, but I'm preparing an adequate response for you, and which will be sent before this date. And the National Commissioner will be working on a document that is then that gets sent to the minister.
The one before last, Chair, as I said, you made references to a meeting of Mkhwanazi and Masemula to analyze the dockets, because they were, at the time when the dockets are supposed to go, might be going to the Commission of Inquiry. You made a point here that Mkhwanazi and Masemula met because they were not very keen for the document to be submitted to the Commission. Who else was in that meeting, and how did you know about it? Because from what you are saying, they were meeting to conspire on the documents before they are taken to the Commission of Inquiry. Who else was there, and when was that meeting, and where was it?
Remember, I was in constant communication with General Motsepe, because I wanted to know, General, because it was just the day I think I left, or after I was removed, and about the dockets. Because personally, I wanted to know, do we have copies of that iPhone? Do we have copies for these dockets? Can we make copies so that we don't lose track of these dockets? Where are those dockets? Personally, I didn't know where the dockets are, because I had never seen any dockets. Can we make copies now? When I was told that no, they are coming, because General Particular also came and they wanted to take the dockets. That's when I knew that, okay, there was a meeting with the 10 people or the investigator from KZN, but there was also a meeting with General Makashalala and a certain white brigadier that came to inspect the docket together with General Particular, and they take them to head to the college where the National Commissioner was based.
Very last one, General, and thanks for your answers. You said to us, you were forced, these are your words, I was forced by the National Commissioner to sign for a financial assistance support for the arrested people. I think those are Lt General Kumalo and others. But this support has not been made available for me.
I don't remember saying I was forced. I said he made me sign. He made me sign the legal assistance for the members. But in my case, I applied, and to date, I haven't been favored with one.
Chair, he answered before the conclusion, because I wanted to know then, General, if you were made to sign for others, now you are not there, somebody's acting in your position. Are you aware if that person is either refusing to sign or is being directed not to sign by a National Commission? That's my last question, Chair. Thank you very much.
My boss is the National Commissioner, and the one who's acting, I don't know if she's the one who can sign, but it is the National, we apply to the National Commission.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Skosana. You wanted to make a follow-up, and thanks very much for your patience.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to be short because really the evidence leader wants to speak.
It's a follow-up because
Chair, no, we have to put things into perspective, because when we live here, we don't want when we are at home, when people are asking us about, because we're here, the General is here with us. When he was clarifying the issue of seniority, I'll start there quickly. The notion that the Deputy National Commissioner is senior to Provincial Commissioner is false. That's number one. It has to be recorded like that. And the follow-up will be, seniority in the police is by date of appointment to a rank. Both a Deputy National Commissioner and the Provincial Commissioner hold the rank of the Lieutenant General. Mkhwanazi was appointed in 2011, rightfully so. I will just clarify, because the way you responded, it will cause problems, Chair. And and yourself, you were appointed in 2023.
Honorable Skosana, are you clarifying him?
Yes, yes, I'm clarifying that no notion, Chair, because when we live here, we should not have this notion that, as you heard the General was saying, he's a senior to General Mkhwanazi. Now, I want to clarify that if he agrees, but that's what the Act says. What I'm saying here is that General Mkhwanazi was appointed in 2011 as a Lieutenant General, and General Sibiya was appointed in 2023. He can therefore not be General Mkhwanazi Senior. Deputy National Commissioner and Provincial Commissioner post is a title, it's not a rank. Now, when he said, I want you to listen to me here on this one. The promotion which the Chief Whip, when he was asking him, that it was a little bit weird that General Mkhwanazi was, the way he responded, that when he was appointed as an acting by then President Zuma, that's what the Chief Whip said, his promotion to the true facts of the matter is that his promotion to a Lieutenant General was proceeded in terms of Regulation 45 of Self-Employment Regulation, which makes provision for the appointment of a higher level based on comprehensive motivation by the appointment authority. There's nothing sinister with appointment. It was within the prescript. Chair, I'm closing it now. I'm saying to you, we are talking here about, there's nothing illegal about that.
Chair, I'm calling up.
Honorable Sangon.
Thank you, Chair. We really resisted to call this point of order because Honorable Skosana will think that Simakile, which is not the truth. Chair, there's a witness there. I think that the witness must be asked questions. It's not for us to debate questions. You see, this is why now the witness starts accusing Honorable Skosana of speaking to other people. But secondly, there was a witness statement here from General Masemula on the issue of seniority between the DNC and the provincial commissioners. Now, I'm not sure that when Honorable Skosana is raising what he's raising, he seems to want to suggest that the National Commissioner came here and lied to us. Thank you very much, Chair.
Yeah, that's why when I recognized Honorable Skosana was for him to make follow-up questions if he has, so that we can move to the next speaker.
Yeah, Chair, in fact, I don't know what, because I was trying to say, when the Chief Whip was speaking, I'm not talking about Honorable Sangon. When the Chief Whip was speaking, the General responded.
What is the question that you want to ask General Sibiya?
Yeah, no. I'm not asking him. I'm just clarifying that there's nothing wrong.
Yeah,
in terms of the issue which he raised, he said to us that he feels that Mkhwanazi, in fact, not only feels that Mkhwanazi, he said Mkhwanazi is a junior to him.
Yeah, I'm going to rule you out because you cannot change the testimony that he gave here.
So we must take it as it is.
Those are his answers.
Yeah, but what I'm asking, I want you, Chair, to say we must take it as it is, as facts.
General Sibiya, do you want to change the answers that you have given to the Chief Whip?
I can read it again from your official document that says.
No. I just want to. Do you stand by the answers that you gave to the Chief Whip?
The Deputy National Commissioner is senior to provincial commissioners. They report to the National Commissioner. That is why even when the National Commissioner goes, the Deputy National Commissioner acts, not the provincial commissioner.
Yeah. General Sibiya, the answers that you gave to the Chief Whip, you stand by them.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. So
as an honorable member, I'm not buying that because it's not true.
Yes.
I'm talking about I'm talking about the regulation, the Employment Act. I'm not talking something
No,
else.
it's fine.
Thank you, Chair.
It's fine. Honorable Matthys.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is on a point of clarity. General, you said that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi is well funded. Are you saying that based on the crowdfunding that has been done on social media? Just clarity. Or is there something outside of that? Or is it just the social media crowdfunding?
Well, Chair, I think I indicated earlier that since I'm not able to put the name of a person who's funding him on the table, it's a statement that I cannot sustain.
Yeah.
This is what I said. However, I did mention the fact that I remember when he said South Africans have put money together, among others, it was Chris Axel who was saying they are buying kettles for him or something like that, or they've donated money that he said he doesn't want, he's going to donate it to orphans or whose parents have done in the line of duty. That is what I said.
Okay. Honorable Mwango.
Well, thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I've got two concerns about the two statements that the witness actually has made. For the whole of yesterday and the greater part of today, he has actually been vehemently denying that the files were actually in his office. That was in response to General Mkhwanazi's actually assertion that General Sibiya actually, the files are in General Sibiya's office, the dockets. Now, lately, when the Honorable Chief Whip was actually asking him and clarifying the concept of the office, then he accepted that the files were in his office. Now we have two statements in our records.
The last statement that he made is that the files were in an office that is under his line of authority. Is that correct, General Sibiya?
That is correct, Chair.
Thank you so much.
Okay, the second one is in relation to seniority. The witness actually has just said that if the National Commissioner is away, the Deputy National Commissioner will always act. In 2011, General Mkhwanazi was appointed as acting National Commissioner at the rank of Major General. So much so that according to the statement given by the witness, some generals refused to salute him because they felt that he was junior to them. As a result of that, General Mkhwanazi had to be promoted to Lieutenant General so that he could actually then, enjoy the respect of the other general. So the contention here is that it is not always that Deputy National Commissioners, if the commissioner is not there, will actually act, automatically act.
I agree with the observation that you are making, but remember you are debating the testimony of the witness, and I don't know.
Just wanted to be clear, Chair, what is actually.
Do you want him to change his testimony?
No, it's up to him. But if he wants to clarify it to us, because I'm
General Sibiya
with that confusion.
Chair, in terms of Regulation 8, a divisional commissioner reports directly to a particular deputy national commissioner. and in the order of precedence ranks directly below the Deputy National Commissioner and directly above a provincial commissioner.
Yeah, I think what we should do, let's just save that part. Just make reference to it to say the regulations. If it's a provision number 5 or 6 of the regulation, just make reference to the relevant provision. Yeah. Okay. General Sibiya, we are proceeding to the last speaker is Honorable Cameron.
Thank you, Chair. I feel like one of those people that need to get everyone up and stretch and turn around and just to make sure everyone is awake. General, firstly, thank you for putting up with us today. It's been a very, very long day, so I'm going to go very, not fast, but I'm going to ask the questions very directly. So if some of them come across quite direct, don't necessarily take it as a point of disrespect. They are going to be direct questions. Some of them I just started writing in the one of the last 2 or 3 people that questioned you. You referred to General Moodley, you referred to General Khan, you referred to General Teo as well. And I want to start my questions with a statement that says you're judged by the company you keep. Before I ask questions regarding those associations, what I want to ask you is, and it can be a very short answer, is, General, isn't it a dangerous precedent when you advise juniors, and when I say juniors, major generals, I'm not talking about in junior ranks, of the very division that you used to be or have control over. Before the new structure was approved, you were in charge of the Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence. Isn't it setting a dangerous precedent to then advise the juniors of the current Divisional Commissioner on whether they should or shouldn't go to court?
I was not advising the junior members, I was advising the divisional commissioners and said, this is a matter that you can deal with. I don't think it's advisable to go to court. But
you said General, you said that you advised, you told, I think, General Khan or General Moodley to not go to court.
No, I was telling General Khumalo. It was General Khan went to court. And then I said, don't go to court because you may lose. You're going to lose.
But then who did you say shouldn't do the expeditious process?
I was telling General Khumalo.
To not do expeditious.
To not do the expeditious.
Then General Khan rushed to court.
Then he did. He proceeded without listening to him.
But you told General Khan, I think you almost said it again now, you told General Khan not to go to court.
Chair, can I be assisted here?
Yeah.
I said, General Khumalo was charging General Khan, and he was using the expeditious approach in a matter of 2021. It's a very long time matter outstanding, and he's been at work working. So in other words, when you have to charge him, you have to follow the normal disciplinary process, not go expeditious. And then he didn't listen. He charged him using the regulation of expeditious. And then General Khan, in order to defend himself, he ran to court.
And he succeeded.
And yes, and he succeeded. That is what I was saying.
Okay, General, I'm sorry if I misunderstood earlier, but you, and I'm going to labor the point. Earlier you said that General Khumalo was going to do expeditious against General Khan, correct?
Yes.
You told General Khumalo why would he do expeditious, correct?
Yes.
Just now when I asked you at first, you said General Khan shouldn't go to court, right?
Never said General Khan shouldn't go to court.
No, it's not what he said.
But Chair, apologies, Chair, but then there was a problem with previous questions because that's exactly what was quoted earlier.
Yeah, what he said was that he advised that when the matter of General Khan went to court. General Khan succeeded in his court litigation. And then General, you said it's Moody, went to court and he lost.
Okay. Did you tell General Moodley not to go to court?
No.
General, I think we're in different rooms here because this differs directly. I see the members nodding as well. I'll go back to it. I'll come back to it later. Chair, there's something wrong here. Moodley was instructed to report to the inspectorate. I followed up on this in Parliament several times. General, when General Moodley was reporting to you still, he was instructed by yourself to go to inspectorate and he refused. The reason I'm asking this tonight is because ground level members, if they don't submit leave correctly or they make a mistake, very, very often, if it's not expeditious, they even get pay cuts. But they face severe punishment, sometimes, in my opinion, overkill punishment. General Moodley was away from work. Tonight, you're defending him here when you spoke earlier, and you can differ from me, but he was away from work for 2 years. What did you do to remedy that?
Remember that General Moodley was away because he was removed from his position. And as he was removed from his position, he was being sent to inspectorate. Now, this is the member of crime intelligence who grew up in crime intelligence. You are taking him out of crime intelligence. You're saying he must go to the inspectorate. And he's saying to you, myself and General Jacobs, we don't have a relationship at all. And I can tell you, it won't work. Then the National Commission say, all right, let's see where we can place him. Choose three stations, clusters where he can be transferred. They gave him 3 where he must choose. He chose Gauteng. Now he feels that he then asks, okay, when must I report and where? But this is after quite some time he was on sick leave, quite some time. Now, in my case, I say he then received a letter that says you either come to work or you are fired. He got fired, and then he went to court to challenge the expulsion. So he went to court, and the court ruled in his favor. Now, in my case, I wasn't defending anybody here. What I was saying is that there's something called interpersonal relations. What needs to happen is that you must be able to build a team in such a way that you work with everybody that you work with. You work with people, with staff that supports you. So it wasn't like I'm supporting General Moodley.
Thank you, General. General, and I want to give context to it. The reason I'm asking those questions is because you said you gave vague answers about there being factions. Now, the whole conspiracy with this entire conflict was that General Moodley, Khan, and to a certain extent General Teal were part of one of the factions. Now, to be very honest with you, and this is a comment, not a question, Chair, in the Chair's absence, is that I find it embarrassing that it sounds like a Spanish telenova, a soapy, let's call it that, days of our lives, when we have to determine who likes who in SAP's management. And it's the reason why this country looks the way that it does with regards to crime. I'll come back to that just now. General, when you were in your capacity as the DNC that still had crime intelligence under you, what did you do when General Moodley was away for 2 years? Because he stayed away, and you can't tell me he was sick, because I followed this up through Parliament. He didn't submit sick leave. So for 2 years, Major General was away, no sick note, and he was eventually dismissed for it. What action did you take in that regard?
Personally, I remember he was not completely, he was sick, but he would show up sometimes bringing the sick note. And then I would talk to him and say, but why don't you come report? Even if you are to come and report here in my office, come to report in my office and say, no, I'll speak to my doctor. But I'll then say, okay, let me also speak to the National Commissioner so that the National Commissioner can agree with me that you're not going to go to the college, I mean to General Jacobs. You can come report here with the hope that I was going to give him projects such as like extortion rackets, your cash in transit, your kidnapping, so that he can run the operations on those. And then when I speak to the National Commissioner said, no, you can't keep him in your office because you don't have a post in your office. Then what I was trying to do to assist also was not approved by the National Commissioner. Now, in my case, it was now between him and the Divisional Commissioner.
General, again, you need to, and again, I say this very directly, but and respectfully, you need to decide whether you're going to be the peacemaker or you're going to be the DNC. You can't allow for crime intelligence that currently in shambles the way that it is, for someone to ad infinitum stay away from work, and when they pop in, they can. The reason I ask this is because General Ntuli, amongst others, and you'll see how the names fit in when I continue with the questions, even flew up to head office to visit you. During my time following up through Parliament and asking questions, etc., it was very clear as we received information that he had visited Pretoria several times. And I find it interesting that you now say he won his court case when he's currently still dismissed. I know he's taking it on appeal, but he's currently still dismissed. And this leads me to the following question. You then again create the impression about General Thiel. Now, General Thiel was previously investigated with allegations of kidnapping, assault, GBH, attempted murder, and defeating the ends of justice. He's currently on his way to trial for defeating the ends of justice. And that's why I started with a quote of saying that you are judged by the company you keep. Because it's ironic to me at the moment, with all of the statements that we've heard today, that those names are the ones that you choose to show some kind of ill treatment, and that it creates the impression of further factionalism. General, I want to move just regards to ranks and promotions, and I want to zoom in again on crime intelligence, and I want to ask you whether you questioned it or had any reservations about it. You mentioned, I think yesterday, a driver that was overnight promoted to captain in KZN. I think it was to captain. Again, when I look at General Ntuli and General Khan, both of them were promoted not too long ago, directly from Lieutenant Colonel to Major General. And that in itself is a significant jump in ranks. We were talking about General Mkhwanazi earlier. I've got my own questions about the way that he was promoted, and we can debate that. But skipping 2 or 3 ranks at any given time is significant. Did you have questions about that?
I don't have knowledge of that because I was not there.
Thank you, General. General, I want to move to the issue of Vusimusi Cat Matlala. When you were at organized crime as a commander there, or let's park that, you were a commander of organized crime. You told us in this house that you had no recollection of Cat Matlala's criminal background, correct?
Yes.
General, how is it possible that you led organized crime, even now as DNC detection, crime detection, and to a certain extent crime intelligence as well? Matlala has a 25-year-old record, criminal record, of significant offences. I mean, a lot of them were in the media. I went and drew them up today, from cash in transit heists, illicit firearms, and scores of those cases were withdrawn. Did you do anything from your side to do any kind of due diligence regarding Mr. Matlala?
I think the people who were supposed to do due diligence on Mr. Matlala, the people who actually gave him a tender. At the time he applied, I think they interviewed them, and these are the people who must check on them and then get their CVs and everything. But the fact that he was given a tender, to me, he appeared to be a normal businessman who is a stockholder because he was actually operating from the College of the Police.
So, General, you're saying that he managed to build this so-called organized crime network, and while you're heading up organized crime and you're heading up later on detective services, you didn't know the background of Kat Matlala, one of the notorious, seemingly, or let's call him one of the highest ranking criminals in South Africa. You didn't know anything about him.
No, I didn't know anything about it. And to be quite honest, Chair, it doesn't mean that when you are the component head, organized crime, which means you must know everybody who is a criminal. You will have, in the provinces, you will have a provincial head of organized crime. And then in Gauteng, there's also people who will know about him. But in my case, quite honestly speaking, I didn't know him.
General, I want to put it to you that is the reason why we are seeing the levels of organized crime in this country, because I can tell you now that it should have raised significant red flags. And when he received that tender, not even talking about General Fani, I mean, General Fani should have his entire own inquiry. We should spend an entire week just with him about procurement, because it seems to me, from what I hear from the Auditor General, the Police Committee are going to have a field day regarding that. But just regarding the red flags with you, is that I have a question about the capacity of organized crime in the South African Police Service if you weren't able to identify that person. To say you didn't know the different or all the criminals in the country, it's not an accurate statement, because there's a difference between Vusi Musi Kat Matlala and a sidewalk Scully in Tembisa. Big difference. General, I want to move to the matter regarding, or furthermore, Kat Matlala. With regards to the reports that were submitted to your office by the Hawks, or IDAC for that matter, in 2024-25, about the criminal probes in terms of Matlala, was it never flagged with you? Did the Hawks or IDAC never come and speak to you about this whole Matlala crisis?
Not at all.
Chair, I think that's something we can ask them about then as well, because there's a serious, very serious oversight lab with internal capacity. General, furthermore, the matter of Kat Matlala and withdrawn cases. On what I just told you, several criminal cases were opened against Matlala over the years, and almost every one of those cases was withdrawn or quietly struck off the roll. Did you ever question why that kept happening?
Because that subject never came up. I didn't know that this man is actually a habitual criminal, or has got so many cases withdrawn against him. It never actually happened. It's unfortunate, Chair, because at this point in time, I'm expected, or I'm being asked questions whether didn't you know about this man? Didn't you know that he's got criminal record? But I don't think it is fair that I'm expected to, when I meet somebody, I must call someone and say, please conduct an investigation on this, run tests on this individual. I'll end up doing it with everybody.
Not at all. Kat Matlala, Brown Mkhotsi, there were several names mentioned in the last 2 days of people that have significant influence. So you can't compare them to sidewalk Scullies. There's a big difference. And if you're heading organized crime or division crime detection, then surely you should have some kind of a dashboard or a list of who your top dogs are, who the whether it's the real, what do we call them, the big five or the fake big five. I don't know who to believe anymore, it seems, but we must have some kind of a list where this is indicated. If a stakeholder gets 360 million rands worth of tender in South African Police Service, then it is the entire SAPS management, and it includes you and General Masemola. There needs to be serious questions with regards to due diligence. General, I want to refresh your memory on the cases of Mr. Kat Matlala. 2018, 11-0 Porsche, attempted murder, withdrawn. 2016, Santon, possession of a firearm without a license and impersonation of a police officer, withdrawn. Silverton, 2015, carjacking and possession of stolen goods, withdrawn. Alberton, house robbery, withdrawn. Burglary, residential premises, withdrawn. possession of housebreaking equipment, withdrawn, common assault, cash in transit heist, not guilty, acquitted, Brooklyn, theft out of a motor vehicle, withdrawn, and so the list goes on. There are many, many more. What I'm saying to you, General, it's physically impossible that he could have slipped the system. Someone helped him, and if it wasn't in your office, then it was in the office of General Mkhwanazi. But there was significant help to Kat Mklala. General, you've repeatedly blamed crime intelligence for operational failures, but I want to ask you whether you ever issued any kind of a formal directive to crime intelligence to target Kat Mklala or Brown Mkhwanazi over the past 12 months?
To start with, Chair, I don't think it is fair that all the records that the honorable member was reading here. I was not in the police. And the chair is saying, I wonder if it was not in your office or General Fani. It's really unfortunate and it's not fair at all, because we are not accountable and responsible for people that are criminals. And if that is the case, why did the police give him a tender? I was not there. I don't know. So that statement, really, I don't accept it, Chair. And then as to whether I gave any order or any instruction to crime intelligence to investigate Kat Mklala, crime intelligence has got their counterintelligence. They do their work, they know their work, and if they do it. They don't have to get any instruction from me. I didn't know about Kat Mklala's involvement in crime.
So even when you're the DNC, crime intelligence, before the new structure was implemented, you didn't give any form of instruction?
That's worse. When I'm the DNC, I'm not that operational. I'm more